camel's back, here's the secret. The million other straws underneath it. It's all mathematics.
Hello, my name is Jermel Powell. I'm the owner of Alone Highway Tutoring, and I wanted to review a word problem in order to cover some of the skills that would be necessary to solve it. If I share my screen, we will see that the problem says, John drove to his parents' house going 50 miles per hour. On his way back, he drives 60 miles per hour. The total drive time is 5 hours. So how far does he live from his parents? When solving one of these problems, first we should recognize what actually needs to be solved and then determine what information will help us to do so. Most word problems will provide you with the question to solve at the end. In this case, the last sentence shows us that we're looking for the distance from John's residence to his parents' house. To determine what we can use to solve the problem, first let's identify the facts. In one direction, John drives 50 miles per hour. On the other direction, John drives 60 miles per hour. And the total drive time is 5 hours. So we should be able to use these three pieces of information to get to the final answer. But you will need more than just these values. You need to figure out how to use them. And the units should help you to do just that. The time was listed as hours. The units for the time was given in hours. And the speed is given in miles per hour. Miles per hour can be written as a function. Miles per or over hour. So this is where the equations come in. While these values will apply specifically to this problem, the equations can be useful in more general situations. Ideally, either you already know the distance formula or we can make it make sense here. We have a speed listed that is written as a ratio of the distance, in this case a mile, over a time, in this case an hour. So the speed formula is that speed is equivalent to distance over time. The second equation that we're going to want to use is the fact that the total trip was broken down into T1, a trip to the parents' house, and then the trip back home, which we'll label T2. So we have these two equations that we can utilize, and in order to combine them, let's rearrange the speed equation. So if we multiply both sides by t, we'll put that up here. If we divide both sides by s, it'll now be in the fraction. So t is equivalent to d over s. So in the first trip to the parents' house, we don't know the distance because that's the final value we're going to solve for, but we do know that the speed traveled to get towards the parents' house was 50 miles per hour. So we can write that here. In the case of T2, again, we still don't know the distance. That will be that final value we solved for, but the speed going back home was 60 miles per hour. And then finally, we know that T was 5 hours. And that's also important to note that the units do matter. If you needed to convert, it would be important to write the units in the individual problem. So if one value was feet and the other one was in inches, we would need to convert first. But in this case, we're okay. So you have 5 equals d over 50 plus d over 60. We can make those fractions have a common denominator by finding one. In this case, we'll make the common denominator 300. Both of these numbers in the denominator can easily become 300. So in the first fraction, we multiply both sides by 6. Then we'll get 6d over 300. And then in the second fraction, we can multiply both by 5. So we will get 5d in the numerator and 300 in the denominator. All right. So now we have 5, the hours, equals 11 times the distance over 300. See, I'm about to make do with the space I have left. Multiply both sides by 300, you get 1,500. I had to take my word that that's 1,500 equals 11D. And then finally, you divide both sides and you say, we'll see that the distance equals the value 1,500 over 11. That time was the squigglies is actually done on purpose. So we calculated that he basically lives 136.36 miles from his parents using the facts that we were given. Now, while this was just a math problem, in order to solve it, we had to interpret what's being asked. We had to identify the information you can use to get to the answer. So that was reading comprehension. We needed to know the distance formula. We needed rules of equations in order to rearrange the formula to solve for time. And we needed to determine a common denominator. And keep in mind, quite a few of you might consider this to be an easy problem, which I won't argue. The point is, observe how many skills and concepts you utilize in handling something like this. I believe that people that consider themselves not a math person just don't understand what it is they're even trying to do in the first place. Now, a strong foundation will allow you to excel in math. As you all either know yourselves or can see, a more shaky foundation can still get good grades and accomplish projects. You just may take more time than needed. So if you would like to work more efficiently, then you can call on a service such as Alone Highway Tutoring to build your foundation and help you become more efficient. So I thank you all for checking out this video. I welcome your feedback. And if you have a question or a subject that you would like to be covered next, please reach out to me. Have a great day.